Hello my dear Digimon fans, this is Mega881000 again, and like I promised in last info video, which was all about the promotion informations and stuff about a new upcoming S.H.Figuarts Dukemon Rebirth of Holy Knight figure, also the video about a mentioned interview with the designers in charge of producing the new Figuarts Dukemon and the brand new Digimon Tamers D-Arks has to happen, and this is it! So we're just diving into this topic right now. The interview itself can be found on the so-called Digimon Partners website. There is an automatic translation of the page into English language. The link to this Digimon Partners net page you can find in the video's description down below. The whole entry is headlined with interview with the persons in charge of Digimon Tamers related products, and has, as you can see, this as the title image, which I also showed you in the video about the new Figuarts Dukemon's promotion. As intro they wrote following: the super complete selection animation D-Ark is currently available for pre-order, and the S.H.Figuarts Dukemon Holy Knight Rebirth of Holy Knight will be available for pre-order on February 18th at Tamashii webshop. Well, again, this first info is now rather outdated, but the next is more important. The people in charge of the development of both of these products are from the Digimon Tamers generation of TV anime, and their dedication to these products has been packed into them. This time we asked the two people in charge of the development to talk about their passion. I will also interrupt the said things from the interview from time to time to comment on with my own thoughts. You know that from my other videos which were about interviews. Anyway, one person is Mr. N from Network Toy Planning Department Bandai Co. The second person in charge is called Mr. A, and he is from Bandai Spirits Collectors Division Planning Team 1. The Digimon Partner staff who conducts the interview makes funny references about them like Digimon lovers in their 30s. Yes, and I will count myself to them right away. Yeah, if you believe it or not, but that's the truth. And that's also true in relation to most of the other anime, which were a big thing in German free TV around the special time back then. And of course I also like the newer and new animes as well. But enough about me, let's continue with the content of the interview. First of all, the Digimon Partner staff, who I will continue to call only DP staff from now on, asked the development team of the Digimon generation, or the two responsible persons, to introduce themselves at first. Mr. N answers: I am N from Bandai Co. In my current department I have been working as a producer of Vital Bracelet characters and have launched the Vital Bracelet series products of Kamen Rider and Ultraman. This time I was in charge of planning and development as a producer of Super Complete Selection Animation D-Ark. Then Mr. A introduces himself and says: I am A from Bandai Spirits. I joined the company in 2017 and this is my 5th year with the company. Now I'm also in charge of the Saint Cloth Mythology and S.H.Figuarts series standard line. I am also in charge of the Digimon series as one of them. DP staff, thanks. Thank you very much. Did you know each other as Digimon directors? Mr. N, we have a weekly meeting called Digimon Regular Meeting, where all the divisions get together to find out what other divisions and companies are doing. I was somewhat aware of his existence from those meetings. Mr. A replies, Mr. N is superior, and we knew each other and we had talked about doing something together at the timing of the release of SCSA D-Arks. Regardless of the department, we wanted to work together to make Digimon Tamers more exciting, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity to have talked with him. DP staff asking, have you been the collectors division for the last 5 years of your career? In the collectors division. Excuse me, please. Mr. A answers, yes, I have been working in the collectors division since I joined the company. At first I was in charge of robotics, but the last year before I was transferred to the movable figure team. The year I joined the company, the Digimon Tamers Digimon figure series started, and I was working in the team next to them. I thought it was really cool because it was a brand that was based on the old Digimon figure series and was able to transform and maintain the proportions of the characters. But I also felt that there was a trend among Digimon fans for movable figures. That's what led to the relaunch of S.H.Figuarts. Yeah, now some thoughts from me about this whole topic. But oh guys, did you hear that? Excuse me. He himself liked the transformable Digimon Tamers series too, or for us Digi-Evolving Spirit series. This is very interesting to hear though, and they also mentioned it here. Is a very good thing, and so fortunately it doesn't seem to have been completely forgotten. And apparently it was more popular than I expected when it contributed to the before mentioned relaunch of Figuarts Digimon figures. Anyway, the whole thing is very interesting to hear such details about the reasons, and I say it again right now, when they noticed that the Figuarts Digimon figures were popular and they decided to actually revive them with the premium color edition halfway repaints, and even want to continue the series after so many years and like I had wished. So I think that for the Digimon Tamers series also still nothing is lost. So as I said in my info video about Omegamon PCE's announcement back 2020, these premium color edition repaints could possibly mean and cause a revival if we really believe in it. So they can truly seen as the spark for the ignition of Digimon Figuarts figures revival. And now you can say that with the knowledge of this informations and what you can deduce from those informations, the revival has become true for real, because Figuarts Dukemon is now undoubtedly a first completely new Figuarts Digimon mold, and not just a Figuarts repaint Digimon as a PCE version with upgrades. So please continue to believe that one fine day they may consider continuing the Digimon Tamers series as well, because of remembering it was just awesome. Yeah. The DP staff then asks Mr. N the following. Mr. N, you have been with us for 7 years. What has your work been like so far? Mr. N, when I joined the company, I was working in the design team designing transformation belts for Kamen Rider. After that, I worked on the planning and development of the Kamen Rider team for 2 years, and in April last year I was transferred to my current position in the network toy planning department. The DP staff then commenting on this with From there you've been in charge of 2 main projects, Vital Bracelet Characters and now SCSA D-Arks, which sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, and of course Mr. N replies on that again and speaking about it was much work to do, but if you wanna read more about, please visit the Digimon Partners site yourself, because I won't go into more detail about the great sounding stuff about the new SCSA D-Arks, since my channel is first only about Digimon figure stuff and second, I don't have the knowledge about those other things, so I am the wrong person to talk and judge about this, and I only want to speak about those interesting things from the interview which are more relating to the figure section, as the awesome further details about the new Figuarts Dukemon Rebirth of Holy Knight figure, plus some general stuff about the 2 designers. So as I said before, if you guys wanna know more about the SCSA D-Arks topic, the interview page I linked in the video's description below. The DP staff also asks Mr. N more general things which I found very interesting again, and shows that the 2 designers themselves have been and are Digimon fans, which in my opinion is the perfect requirement for us fans to get the best products according our wishes, I think. What do you think? So Mr. N makes further statements about his past. When I was in primary school, I watched everything from Digimon Adventure to Digimon Frontier, and I also played with LCD toy. I also watched Digimon Savers and Digimon Cross Wars in real time. I liked Digimon so much that I participated in the DigiFest in my first year at the company. I like all Digimon anime, but the best is Frontier. I love all the anime, but for me, this is the best one. Maybe it's because I like special effects like Kamen Rider, but I was attracted by the idea of people transforming into Digimon. The element of hybrid was also very fresh, and I longed for the fact that I could transform and fight myself. Mr. A then replies about this, yes, did you also buy the scanner? And Mr. N answers him with, I bought it! I was the kid who had Digivice, D3, D-Arks and D-Scanner. I remember scanning the barcodes of products and laughs. Also interesting, someone from the design team themselves saying they liked Frontier the most of all. I guess that's something pretty new, isn't it? Yes, seen from the self-transforming aspect, that was cool too, yeah. And that's a lot more popular and common in Japan though, like with Kamen Rider and many other things, and I think they wanted to adapt that for Digimon at that time too. But most fans of the previous 3 Digimon seasons thought the human Digimon partner system is simply better, including me, because it was somehow much more emotional than the other one with the self-transforming into Digimon system. For me personally, Frontier simply lacked in this, especially in not having the certain bonding aspect between Digimon and humans. But yeah, well, let's continue with the interview. Mr. A then replies following, I don't remember. I watched Adventure just before I started primary school, so I don't really remember. I watched 02, Tamers and Frontier, but I remember the movie Digimon Adventure, Our War Game, or Bokura no War Game, the most. Even as an adult, I would sometimes watch it again. I think I have a strong memory that it was fun, and every time I go back to watch it, I think, did it go by so fast? And laughs. And yes, I agree with him too. Man, where has the time gone? Where had the time gone? I don't really know. Anyway, below we have this image with the headline, product planning with passion. Furthermore, the DP staff questions Mr. A, how did you decide to commercialize Dukemon in the S.H.Figuarts series? Below we have this other image. Mr. A replies, originally we wanted to relaunch S.H.Figuarts with Digimon, so we started with Omegamon, Alphamon and Imperialdramon. However, when we thought about delivering Digimon to fans for a long time to come, the whole division felt that it was not enough to just rework the past. In this situation we decided that Dukemon would be a strong character that fans would want to have, and that we could improve and compared to the previous products and create a completely new form. Hey guys, did you hear that? They actually want to make the Figuarts Digimon figures again for a longer time now. Anyway, that's what I interpret from the statements and the first 3 repaints with upgrades, as premium color editions were probably the try run to see how they are selling, and apparently they did sell very well. And that are just absolutely super great news, aren't it? I mean, how many fans, including me, as you know, have wished for that over the years so bad? Then the DP staff asks Mr. N, did you review Tamers for this product development? Or he means, did you rewatch Tamers? Mr. A replies, yes, I did. I've watched the scenes where he appears many times. We were conscious of the fact that we wanted to make sure that the poses were more realistic than the existing products, and that we could recreate the cool poses. Well, this is so cool and very interesting to hear all those details about, isn't it? He did some real research on this, which is also important too, and I think all of that actually reflects in the final product in a very positive way. As I said in my video about a promotion update about a new Figuarts Dukemon figure, it already looked very promising from the pictures, and I think these statements make it even more obvious that the new Figuarts Dukemon can only be awesome. Mr. N also commenting on with, I like Dukemon, the best from Tamers, so I thought it was really cool to see him sculpted this time. I think he meant that he getting a new mold. Here, Mr. A replies on that with, thanks, it's available, and laughs. Mr. N answers, when you showed me the pictures, I thought I really want this. Yeah. Oh well, the two are really fun to me, aren't they? Mr. N do a bit of promoting right away. They are approving that both are real true Digimon fans. One is proud of his work, the other praises him for it as a true fan. It almost seems a bit to me like they had their company Bandai persuaded to release Dukemon as a new Figuarts figure, but secretly mostly for themselves, because they just wanted Dukemon as a new mold themselves. Anyway, but that's definitely very good for us fans. After that, the DP staff speaks up again. Ensan also approves of your sculpting. In the past, Dukemon was released by D-Arks, wasn't it? How is it different from D-Arks? Mr. A, we have prepared a prototype for that question, and laughs. Below this we have this image of D-Arks Dukemon for comparison. Mr. A explains further. This is the D-Arks released in 2012. To be honest, the proportions are pretty good, but we've had some comments about the articulation since then. The shoulders can be raised to a certain extent, but when it comes to the pose with the holy lens sticking out, the armor on the shoulders gets stuck. Also the hip joints and thighs interfere with each other, so the range of motion is limited, or movement. This was partly due to the original design of the character, but now that 10 years have passed, we felt that we could deliver a better Dukemon figure to everyone. Yeah, exactly, Mr. N summed everything up in detail, and that's exactly what I said in my first info video on the subject. In a similar way, the modeling of the parts, the sculpt mold of the Figuarts Dukemon was optically very good already. The weaknesses were rather too few joints and the limitations mentioned here that prevent perfect posing. Furthermore, we have this comparison picture with the new Figuarts Dukemon below, and Mr. N continues. And this is the S.H.Figuarts version of Dukemon. The shoulders are constructed with a sliding joint, which greatly improves the range of movement. The hip joints also have a sliding gimmick to increase the range of movement. Also, since the character is armored, the chest area tends to have limited movement. But by using a retractable structure, the chest armor can be moved back and forth, making it easier to pose it bent over. I tried to make the best looking Dukemon ever while keeping the emphasis on movement. Below that we have these images which I showed you in the last video on the subject already as well. And like I said, that those are from the interview. Yes, and we already know a lot of this from the notes from the official promotion update, only explained here in more detail by the designer himself. Very, very interesting. As I've said before, this improvement they made for the articulation, range of movement, and the fact that the designer noticed these weak points on the Figuarts Dukemon and fixed them for the new figure is high creditable to the whole team, and that they noticed that they would be only able to improve this by making a completely new mold is just great. So the 2.0 mold for Figuarts Dukemon is a very significant improvement compared to the 2012 Dukemon figure, and that they even considered a full new mold for being able to improve it like that is just the same great. In this regard, they don't make any savings here. The DP staff then comments again with, I see, so you had to make a completely new model for this from scratch. And Mr. A answers, that's right, the Figuarts models back then were also very cool, so I thought I might be able to use them well, but when I looked at them more closely, the design around the chest was different from the anime, so I thought I would just make a new one and laughs. Yeah, very, very good decision, Mr. A. You just have to acknowledge this and say keep it up if you get permission from the boss to design something completely new. So please keep new molds up, right people? Again, I have to mention that I would never have expected something this great new after the rather sobering Imperial Digimon Premium Color Edition repaint without upgrades, except for a different color scheme. Because as I already judged about him and the strange choice in my promotion update about him, I would have expected the opposite, so that Imperial Digimon PCE would sold rather poorly, and this wrong choice could so rather mean the death of the Figuarts Digimon revival, including completely new hope modes for Figuarts Digimon, and that the idea gets rather cancelled again. Fortunately, as you can see, this fear was completely wrong, but I never expected a completely new mold for the Figuarts Dukemon Premium Color Edition remake with a movable glove cape, for example. And many fans actually expected Dukemon as the third Premium Color Edition and felt that the Imperial Digimon PCE was a strange and wrong choice. If I or anyone in general had known at this time already that they were planning a completely new Figuarts Dukemon figure instead of a D-Arks remake as a Premium Color Edition, I think many, including myself, would have been much more at ease and relaxed about this. But you have to admit, it was just kind of unimaginable that Bandai would bring something like this awesome again. For the reasons mentioned before, I also criticized this choice for Imperial Digimon PCE so sharply, for which I almost feel sorry now, but the expectations simply dropped a lot down afterwards, because the first two Premium Color Editions been good choices with Omegamon and Alphamon, with worthing upgrades to their original figure versions, in my opinion, and simply offered more potential. Figuarts Imperial Digimon PCE on the other hand did not, because the original version already came with all the important stuff, so I literally asked myself what else should come after this, and I was pretty sure that it will be over again soon. But people, how wrong one can be, and this is also very good. Just wanted to mention the importance of the announcement of a completely new Figuarts Dukemon mold and how absolutely great this actually is. Again, I think there is no better way to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Digimon Tamers. But let's continue with the interview. On Mr. A's last statements, the DP staff replies the following: "You have a lot of past products on hand, and you've taken a good look at what's good and what's bad about them." Mr. A, I'm not sure. A lot of Digimon fans have been following the series for a long time, so we thought that those who have the previous toys would be wondering, what's the difference? I thought they would be curious about the differences. I tried to identify the good and the bad, and then think, well, what are we going to do this time? I tried to find out what's good and what's bad, and then ask myself, what are we going to do this time? So this time, together with Toei Animation, we were very particular about the colors. This time we are using a glove cape, and actually the red color of the cape is different on the front and back. We also changed the color of the red on the shoulders, the pearl grey and red metallic on the body, and the silver on the shield. We've tried to create a sense of unity throughout, but at the same time we've tried to create a sense of luxury and message through the small differences in the colors. Yeah, I have to say, I really didn't expect the red of the cape to be different shades on the outside and inside. From the pictures, I mean, the cape is actually only red overall, but it's also very interesting to hear more about that. Maybe the outside is more shiny fabric and the inside is more matte. That's actually the only things I could imagine about the differences now. And the fact that they paid very close attention to the coloring together with Toei Animation, this is probably the definitive proof that the base color of the armor is going more into white, as I mentioned and suspected several times before. And as I said, the Dukemon model kit's white colored armor as a reference for the Figuarts with the white, because in the Tamers anime, Dukemon has more of a white armor. The old Bandai Dukemon figures were more grey or silver, metallic and contrary, as I also mentioned recently. With the modification of the rest of the colors, it then corresponds in direction of how a premium color edition of it would have looked like. Yeah, that's what I would say now. The fact that they changed the red for these details also corresponds to what I said with premium color edition, but it also remains to be seen if this is a better red than on the D-Arks, because I personally think the darker metallic red they used back then for these details was an absolutely beautiful red for D-Arks Dukemon. You only can be surprised how the new color scheme works in compared to the D-Arks color scheme. Under the last statement by Mr. A, there is again the following headline: "We are looking at all possibilities." DP Steph, thank you very much. So is there anything that you can talk about in terms of like the future prospects for the two of you? Mr. N, this time under the brand new SCSA we made D-Ark as the first product, but there are many other products such as Digimon Adventure, Digimon Adventure 02 and Digimon Frontier. But we have many more Digimon Adventure and Digimon in the works, so we are thinking of continuing to commercialize them. Of course, we would like also to remarket other Digimon titles that we've released as part of the CSA series as SCSA versions. DP Steph, I was listening to Frontier in particular and I thought that N-san would like to do it. Mr. N, that's right. I myself like the work of Frontier, and this year is the 20th anniversary of the work, so if people want to have it, I would like to commercialize the scanner with SCSA. DP Steph, please, by all means. Mr. N, I will do my best. Mr. A, as for the collectors division, we basically want to continue with two main brands in the future, S.H.Figuarts and NXEdge-Style. This time, as the fourth product of the S.H.Figuarts relaunch, I took on a completely new challenge for the first time with Dukemon. In the future, we would like to continue to release new characters that are not simply color variations. As for the lineup, I personally would like to develop ultimates from the first Digimon Adventure. We will consider if we want to make them into movable figures or not. There are also the SH Monster Arts series in the collectors section, so there's a possibility for that as well. DP Steph, oh, and the SH Monster Arts access. Yeah. Mr. A, Digimon has a lot of potential, so I want to do my best. By the way, N-san, do you have any Digimon that you would like to make into a three-dimensional wand Digimon? Mr. N, if it's Frontier, I would be happy to see sculpt of Vitramon and Aldamon, because I like them a lot. If there is room for a commercial version, I would like to be I would like it to be considered. Mr. A, I will remember it. I will write it down. And laughs. Mr. N, I would be very happy if we could work together on a cross-divisional collaboration project for the 20th anniversary of Frontier. Mr. A, yes, that's something we would like to do together. Yeah. Afterwards, everyone thanks each other again so much for the content of the interview. And now at the end I would like to work through these last statements again a bit more detailed. I didn't want to interrupt these great news and details here every time and wanted to let all of this have an effect on you first. It was already shimmering through in a statement from Mr. N before that I would like to continue the Digimon Figuarts figures with completely new characters and so new molds, which are not just repaints. Now it has been mentioned again, like they want to continue the Figuarts and the NXEdge-Style Digimon figure series in the future. Again, the fact that they themselves like Frontier more than fans do is kinda funny, isn't it, guys? But that sounds very promising and like a future plan that you can take more seriously, and this statement differs in the choice of words from the interview about Alphamon Premium Color Edition, where his designer said back then that he would be happy to be able to make completely new characters or new Figuarts Digimon molds. Here that sounded pretty official, and the new Figuarts Dukemon could be seen as the beginning of the revive. I mean, it's already a completely new mold and not just a repaint. Even if the character Dukemon was released as a D-Arks figure before, that's now is something different than the premium color edition repaints with upgrades before. And if you listen to the statements of the two, so hearing their own wishes and ideas are also involved and shimmering through, and you can only say that the future planning for new Figuarts is in perfect hands. If it were up to the two, there would soon be something completely new again. I just think I'm just saying Frontier again for this. Yeah. And the statement of the designer who would like to make the ultimate level Digimon from Adventure 01 as Figuarts is the same and sounds great. So let's hope for the best that they both can get their wishes through to their bosses at Bandai Tamashii and convince them, and they get the green light for new products from them, and that they also recognize the mentioned potential. Seriously, that would be so awesome great. Or wouldn't it be? And the mentioned SH Monster Arts Access series is the Figuarts series, which is for example everything spanning the Godzilla franchise. But if it's Figuarts or Monster Arts, I'm sure this designer could do some great figures as a fan himself, because there's something really solid base to design as far as the ultimate level characters are considered, and with the technology available today, all is possible, I think. Can't wait to see what they are allowed to do, and so guys, keep your fingers crossed that there will be a full revival of Digimon Figuarts. The premium color edition repaints could be maybe seen like the spark, and the new Figuarts Dukemon could be the ignition for the revival. So please support that with a purchase of the new Dukemon. I guess you can't go wrong with that, as in contrary, hunting for the old D-Arks Dukemon with high prices now, and some fans who don't have the old due maybe starting collecting later or didn't get it due other reasons. So especially for these fans, the new Dukemon is definitely a better alternative than, as I said, chasing after the old one. I mean, it's been 10 years for now when it got released. And also for the fans who bought the D-Arks Dukemon back then, it's a great 2.0 Figuarts Dukemon figure that's worth buying, because for being much better and improved. We heard all now again. Yeah, and I would say that that thing is improved. As far as the NXEdge-Style Digimon series goes, they also re-released these as repaints, as kinda premium color editions, which were also shown in the display at Digimon Fest. Below the interview we have these links to the various products. And now I'm done with my info video about this once again. Very interesting and insightful interview. It got very long again, but I wanted to make a detailed video about it. And as I said, I always find it extremely interesting to find out things like that. So if this info video was at least as interesting for you as it was for me just reading it for the first time, I would be happy about a thumbs up. And of course you can also subscribe to my channel. Goodbye, your Mega 88 1000.